What's up? What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel Sports, Life, and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel, YouTube's #1 couch detective, and I'm here for the news. And here recently, there was 18 co-defendants in the Donald Trump indictment, and everybody's been booked, charged, and had their mugshot taken and released. Everybody except this one, quote-unquote, black man. Now, is he a Negro? I have no idea. He could be from Africa or he could be from the islands. There's a distinction between us American Negroes and the rest of the blacks on the planet Earth. That don't mean anybody's bigger or better, but obviously there's a distinction. And I want to go over this clip of this indictment and try to get to the bottom of some things and give my assessment on what the hell I think is going on.
Tonight, the criminal prosecution in the Georgia 2020 election interference case is moving to a pivotal phase. All 19 defendants, including former President Donald Trump, have now surrendered to Fulton County authorities, and now District Attorney Fani Willis is setting the stage for trial.
And if you look on this actual picture, they have these people in order, I think, in order of importance. Obviously, they have Trump first, Giuliani second, John Eastman, Mark Meadows, and the list goes on. And as you can see, almost on the bottom is Harrison Ford, and then you have this Negro smiling down here, this Negro female. I don't even know if this is a Negro. Now, that's not an American Negro. I don't know if Harrison Ford is an American Negro. Now, they could be. I could be wrong. But they don't look like our people. Yeah, Negroes, when Negroes take a mugshot, they're usually not smiling like this unless they're completely deranged or mentally ill.
Today, she told all the defense attorneys that her office is ready to share evidence. And she's pushing for arraignments to begin the week of September 5th, right after Labor Day. Still, no decision from the judge on that. Meanwhile, Trump's co-defendants in the Georgia case are making their own moves. Today, his former campaign lawyer, Sidney Powell,
look like she has a Nazi hair helmet. I ain't never seen no shit like that in my life. And the bags under her eyes, she's completely stressed out by this case. There's no doubt about it. Now, no disrespect, I've said this in other videos, white people age pretty fast. This lady's only 25 years old. I'm just bullshit. But seriously, as you can see, they have these people booked and charged, and you know, a lot of these mugshots aren't too becoming.
Filed a motion for a speedy trial. She's accused of promoting false claims of ballot fraud in the 2020 election. Powell joins Ken Chesborough in demanding the speedy trial. He was allegedly a key architect of the fake elector scheme. Tonight, Politico reports that 3 Trump co-defendants say they became fake electors because the former president and his campaign lawyers told them to. Along with all this.
And as you can see, let me tell y'all this. When you're dealing in this type of chicanery, and if you did anything illegal, people start out as a group. You might start out as B2K, but everybody goes to Marion extremely fast. You might start out as America's #1 boy band, but before you know it, you are Justin Timberlake. It is a solo act. Everybody wants to be a cowboy until you have to ride the bull. And when you ride the bull, you usually get the horns. Now the horns are out. So everybody has went solo.
At least 5 defendants have formally asked to have their cases moved to federal court. Former Trump Chief of Staff Mark Meadows is one of them. A federal judge is set to hold a hearing on that request Monday.
Mark Meadows looked like he'd been drinking bourbon for 92 straight days. He's not sleeping much. As you can see, the bags under these white people's eyes is giving away a lot of details on the stress that they under. Nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to go to jail. And you most definitely don't want to go to jail as an older person. Just sounds terrible.
Meadows claims that the allegations against him were all part of his official duties as Trump's chief of staff.
The federal judge has said, okay, show me some evidence why you were really within your official scope of responsibilities. He can't testify. He could maybe weave his own way on direct, but he would be clobbered on cross-examination. So he's going to have to carry his burden somehow with evidence, real evidence that doesn't include his own testimony.
One witness expected to testify is Georgia's top election official, Brad Raffensperger. Remember, Trump was heard on tape asking him to find 11,780 votes. And another
And as you can see, they said on tape. So that means either him or somebody, I would assume him, was recording these conversations. All these white people, look, even when white people deal with one another, especially in politics and in the corporate world, man, they keep a lot of information on each other. So when you're a Negro and and you want to involve yourself in this type of tomfoolery, you got to know you're going to pay double.
The hearing is set to take place Monday. This one right here in Washington, D.C. Judge Tanya Chutkin, who's overseeing Trump's federal election case, will decide on a start date for that trial.
And we're going to go into this next clip. Why is Harrison Ford the only Georgia co-defendant still behind bars? Look, all these other people that you've seen on that screen are 18 co-defendants. All 17 received a bond, except Harrison Floyd, the quote-unquote black man. Now, I ask you a question. Do you think the reason why he's still behind bars is race? Do you think it's fair or just to have him behind bars? Let's take a look at this clip.
Of the 19 people indicted, he is the only one still in jail tonight. Now, many of you are asking a lot of questions about why that is.
So he's the former director of Black Voices for Trump 11 Lives Down. Mike joins us in the studio. She's going to bring us just the fact.
And this lady got a true spray-on tan. Either she's Italian or a former porn star. I have no idea which one. But she looks like a 90s porn star. But I don't want to veer too far off topic. But the point is they're saying, basically, the only reason he's still behind bars is because he's black. And I say to the two questions that I just posed to you, good, you dumb nigga. When you get yourself involved in this type of bullshit, you have to know you're going to pay. Listen to me, if all the rest of those people, including that quote-unquote black woman down there, which I don't think she's a Negro, but she is quote-unquote black, if all of them got bonded and do no time, I hope he gets 2 years. If that motherfucker is a non-Negro and his parents, and he's an anchor baby and they're from another country, give him life. Obviously that bullshit, but he deserves a lot of time. You have no business as a Negro getting yourself involved in this tomfoolery and doing anything illegal for these people. You got to be a fool because you know when shit hit the fan, nobody's going to be there for you.
Tonight, Don?
Ron and Jennifer, tonight we are looking at if not having a prearranged bond and also having the open case in Maryland are the reasons why Floyd has been denied bond. I took those questions to the experts to verify. That was Harrison Floyd, one of 19 defendants indicted by Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis on RICO charges. We're answering two questions on why Floyd may still be in jail. Our sources for this are Fulton County Superior Court and Tom Church, trial attorney with the Church Law Firm. The first question, is Floyd's open federal case a factor in him being denied bond? According to the federal criminal complaint, Floyd is facing a misdemeanor simple assault charge. He allegedly assaulted an FBI agent while delivering papers in connection with the U.S. Department of Justice's investigation into whether Trump tried to overturn the 2020 presidential election. Floyd bonded out on those federal charges, but Fulton County Superior Court Judge Emily Richardson cited it as the main reason she denied bond in the Georgia case.
Based on the open charge against you, there are grounds for bond to be denied at this point.
So we can verify this claim is true, although Church says it needs context.
Well, I do think it's inconsistent to cite the fact that he has a pending federal case when the president, the main defendant in this case, has 3 pending cases.
That man just compared a hammerhead Negro involved in some foolishness to the former president of the United States, a white man whose name is Donald Trump. Nigga, ain't nothing fair about the judicial system. It's about money and who you know. Period. That man just got on TV and said, well, Donald Trump he also has 3 federal cases that's pending. What the fuck, are you kidding me? So what? Give his ass 2 to 3 years. That'll get him right. I bet you next time he won't get himself involved in no foolishness like this.
Criminal defense lawyer, so he was concerned about people's rights and that people being treated equally under the law. This really kind of did rub me the wrong way.
The second question, did Floyd's lack of a bond arrangement affect him still being in jail?
The other defendants in this case clearly had an advantage because they hired lawyers preemptively who reached out to the DA and negotiated a bond before they turned themselves in. Mr. Floyd did not do that.
Look, so not only was he a hammerhead idiot for being involved in this, he also wasn't preemptive. Every other defendant knew what was coming and got them a lawyer and made sure that, they was able to negotiate a bond agreement. This the only numbskull that didn't do it. Give him 5 years.
So we can verify this is true. Floyd's lack of bond arrangements did affect him still being in jail. And according to Fulton County Superior Court records, Floyd has a bond hearing this Thursday morning with Judge Scott McCaffey. Floyd has a newly appointed public defender who is expected to argue he is not a flight risk.
Hey man, when you know better, you gotta do better. And when you're a Negro, you gotta know everything we do, we gotta pay double. That's why when you're on jobs and you're dealing in corporate America, whatever you into, understand that shit'll never be fair. And once you get that in your mind, you'll understand that, hey, I have to be on my P's and Q's. That's the way the world is. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Give him life. I was just bullshit, y'all. But yeah, he deserves to do some time. If they don't do no time, he deserves to do at least a year or 2 at the bare minimum. If they get a year or 2, get that nigga 5. If they get 5, give him 10. Because you got to make an example to let other Negroes know, don't get yourself involved. As soon as they ask you to start doing illegal shit, oh no, brother. They're going to give me double time. And you people ain't going to be nowhere around. Nowhere around. Let's move on to the next clip. Faculty member fatally shot at the University of North Carolina. Now these shootings keep happening over and over again. Let's take a look at this clip on these university campuses, at dollar store generals, at grocery stores. It doesn't matter. At malls in Texas. It doesn't matter. At schools in Uvalde. It doesn't matter. They keep happening over and over again, and they're going to keep happening until they get these ban on these assault rifles. Let's take a look at the clip.
The new school year has started with tragedy at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Authorities there confirm a faculty member was killed today inside one of the buildings on campus. A person of interest was taken into custody about 90 minutes after first officers responded. Right now, police are not releasing the name of the shooter or the victim.
We're going to get to his name, too. I got his name.
Leaders expressed their condolences, calling it a tragic day for the community.
I'm grieved to report that one of our faculty members was killed in this shooting. This loss is devastating, and the shooting damages the trust and safety that we so often take for granted in our campus community.
After a 3-hour campus-wide lockdown, the off year was given for faculty and students to return to normal.
Somebody dies and it just returns to more normal. Now, this man's name is Taliq Q. I don't know how to pronounce that name. I'm not going to even bullshit you. I'm going to let them say his name, but you can see it right there. It's Taileiqi. Sometimes the Q is pronounced with a U. I don't know. But they say we investigated before socials were scrubbed. And I always say this, in all of these mass shootings, I said it in every single one going back 2 years, the first thing they do is scrub these people's social media because they don't want you to know who they're in contact with. They don't want you to know their mental health situations or illnesses or what medication they were saying, because people post their whole lives on social media now. They tell it all. They spill it all out there. So they don't want you knowing that. Oh, I'm seeing this certain doctor and he's giving me this, or you won't get to hear none of that shit. But let's take a look at this clip.
Who is Taliq Chi in terms of what is on the...
And that Q is Taliq Chi. That's why I said, they don't even let me try to pronounce that name.
who is Tyler Chi in terms of what is on the Applied Physical Sciences webpage. But as I mentioned, WREL's Sarah Kruger has been digging into that. She joins us live on Williams Circle in Chapel Hill. So Sarah, break this down. Who is this person?
Chris, right, just to set up first where we are, again, we are on Williams Circle. This is where we have that exclusive video of the suspect being taken into custody and of police searching this home right here behind me, which now you can see is not taped off any longer. Things out here in this neighborhood now back to normal. As you mentioned, we've been looking into the background of this suspect, Tyler Chi. We know he is a second-year PhD student at UNC. He joined what's known as the Yan Research Group in January of 2022, and at UNC he studies what's that.
And that little thing in the window is a dream catcher. They got little feathers and shit. And Native Americans, they call that shit dream catchers. So this is interesting too. Was he in this house? What was he doing in this house? Does he live here? I mean, you never know.
Complicated science, nanoparticle synthesis, light matter interaction, spectra analysis, and machine learning. He has a master's degree in material science and engineering. That is from LSU, and he has a bachelor's degree in physics. That's from Wuhan University in China. On his LinkedIn page, he says he likes running and hiking. He was an 800-meter champion and 6th place of the 1,500-meter years ago. He plays badminton, tennis, and table tennis. We also were looking at his Twitter page and going through some of his old tweets, and what we found there, he talks about loneliness, wanting to...
Well, here we go. I just talked about the dude yesterday. When I was coming up, they had more crude analysis of who people were. A person like this, they would call this person maybe a social retard. That doesn't mean he's not intelligent. Obviously, you heard his credentials were vast and he were dealing in deep and complex sciences. But now you would just say he was a socially awkward person. And these socially awkward people can turn into incels. And incels in this society, for some odd reason, can turn into serial killers / mass shooters out of the blue. But is it out of the blue is the question. Are these people just waking up from sadness, melancholy, and just starting to kill? Or are they in contact with people who are fostering these feelings? Or are they under medication that fosters suicidal thoughts? Very good questions. That's why I want to go over this video, because they're scrubbing these people's social media, so you can't know. But me personally, I feel like I do. I could always be wrong, but, time will tell.
Make some friends. He also talks about bullying being a problem in America. We will continue to go through all of this and bring you what we learn. Chris and Lena.
And Sarah, have you been able to talk to any more neighbors? I know Aaron was focusing his camera on that blue home behind you. Do we know any connection to that blue home at this point?
Lena, we don't. I know Aaron talked to a number of neighbors out here who said they do not recognize this man. They do not believe that he lives in this neighborhood. We're about 1.5 miles from campus, and I just got to the scene about 5 minutes ago. So after this live report, I will go.
And that's interesting. They say the neighbors say they ain't never seen this man, and he don't live at that home. What were they using that home for? And as you can see, he was in complex sciences. Different type of science, and he was like nano and particle this, and yeah, that's some deep complex shit. And was mind control also being involved in this? That's the question. What is this house being used for? Was he coming in and out late at night, middle of the night, with nobody ever seen him? Who owns the home? That's another question. Who owns the home and who lives there?
See what I can learn from neighbors, but right now his connection, if any, to this neighborhood is really unclear.
All right,
of course it is.
Ryan Force on Williams Circle, please check in as soon as you learn anything new. A lot new, though, in terms of her scrubbing his social media. Certainly the part about loneliness and conversations around bullying in this country.
Yeah, we had seen some of those posts as well, in the newsroom as we were looking in. But again, Sarah digging a little deeper in.
And if you're socially awkward and you don't know how to talk to people, communicate with people, or you say odd things at odd times, yes, it can. People will say mean-spirited things. When I was coming up, it was way worse than it is today. At least in today's society, there is a form of empathy for people who are socially awkward. But when I was coming up, oh man, motherfucker unleashed the hounds on you.
To what exactly may have been his social media history, a LinkedIn profile as well, kind of breaking down a little bit about what he is into in terms of studying. We know that, again, on the website, the Applied Physical Sciences website, they kind of have some more details as well. Now, Sarah mentioned that he also has it listed that he had once attended Louisiana State University as well as Wuhan University.
You got to realize a lot of these guys, they don't talk to women at all. Women, they might go on a date and they do something or say something weird, and the woman bails time and time again. And then they pretty much check out of the whole dating and trying to get married and have children. They'll check out of that shit completely. And that's how they become incels. And that's when you become really weird, because idle mind is the devil's playground. It can have you finding yourself in all type of foolishness. And as you can see, for an Asian dude, he looks pretty normal, but obviously he looks like a Chinese version of Kermit the Frog. But you know, you come to America, you're not, unless you filthy rich, man, and you look like this guy, the ladies ain't knocking down your door, man. And God knows it's not like you some sexual stud. So, you know, a lot of these people be in trouble, man. And they go onto this internet and then they find all of a sudden that there is a place for you on the internet. There's somebody for you on there to lead you down a road of misery and death and destruction.
For in China, but we still have a lot of questions we're trying to get with this. For example, why this faculty member? You know, what is the motive behind this? What led up to this? All of it. Again, on your screen, we have the suspect there sitting on the ground with police there. Again, that is Tailei Qi. We just really are trying to get more from investigators during a press conference that hopefully begins soon. But again, I think a lot of people are now asking.
And if that faculty member was targeted, it could have been a woman he liked, or it could have been a man who liked a woman that he liked, or he could have been somebody that reminded him or said something to him that used to bully him in the past or said something to him in the past. You just never know. You never know with this shit. And you'll never get to know because they keep all the shit on the hush-hush. And by the time you get to this case and start looking too deep into this, Maui's on fire. By the time you see Maui's on fire, California got a hurricane. By the time you look at California's hurricane, all of a sudden it's a mass shooting in Jacksonville, Florida at a store. They just keep you off balance. I give them credit for this shit. They keeping us off balance, Jack. But it's all part of one agenda, in my personal opinion.
Why?
Right, yeah. So soon into the start of the school year, was this planned? Was this just an impulsive situation? We don't know that, as you're seeing the video that we have of him being put in that patrol car. So here again, we've been following this now for a few hours. This first alert coming out just after 1 o'clock. We should say again, campus police, Alert Carolina, UNC officials have given the all clear.
Well, they gave the all clear on that. That's pretty much over with, you guys. But it is what it is. These type of cases are going to keep happening. And you just have to be prepared and try to keep your head on a swivel and try to have a belief in the faith so you can walk with God and, you know, stay prayed up to the best of your abilities. And get your guns while you can before this shit's before it's all over with. I want to go over this little small clip. New U.S.-Russian astronauts speak of unity aboard ISS, International Space Station. Now, I've went over many videos and talked about how I don't believe in aliens. And I also realized that a lot of the stuff that they show us and film give us in film and videos and clips is fake coming off the International Space Station. I knew that for over 10 years. But, you know, this is a great platform to talk about it. Allegedly, in my opinion. I could be wrong, could be all real. But we're going to take a look at this clip and we're going to see, and I'm going to allege some things, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of proof of why I think they're staging videos in space. And they're not really in space, and they're truly just underwater. Let's take a look at the clip. And they're using CGI. And as you can see, when you look at this photo, you have all of these different people from these different countries, because it's obviously an international space station. They said a brand new American showed up and a brand new Russian showed up. And at the top of the screen, you have two guys hanging upside down, and they're both holding on to something. Now, do I think they're harnessed to something? 100%. There's no need to take this photo to try to prove that you're in space. The whole thing looks wacky as hell, and I don't believe it. Keep the video going.
Endurance ascends, an international crew destined for the International Space Station.
Stage 1 propulsion is
7 billion. Good calls from propulsion and officers here. Propulsion's phenomenal.
I think we represent a good crew to be coming to the International Space Station.
I want to point out again how important it is to work together in unity. And this is International Space Station. We are the most international SpaceX flight.
They're supposed to be out there for the next 6 months together. Now you see the two dudes are clapping at the top. I say, personally, give me a fucking break. Let's take a look at this next clip. Beaufort County Speaker puts NASA on the hot seat because people have legitimate questions. Let's take a look. Fair use, fair use. Using this video for educational purposes. Fair use, fair use.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Just state your name for me and your...
My name is Justin Harvey. I live at 103 South Osceola, Orlando, 32801. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Today I'd like to bring to your attention a potential fraud on an enormous scale happening in York County. There's now clear evidence of NASA using numerous methods to grossly mislead the public about astronauts being on the International Space Station. During interior ISS scenes from NASA's own live feed, the use of wires, harnesses, green screens, and virtual reality have been detected to achieve the appearance of a weightless environment. Examples of this include astronauts fading in and out of the screen, green screen glitches, grabbing objects that aren't really there, pulling on invisible wires, getting tangled in their harnesses, and even astronauts appearing out of thin air. This begs the obvious question. If they're really up there, why are they using Hollywood techniques to fake the footage? Now, unfortunately, I can't show you these clips in here today, but I will be sending them to you. Moving on, outside the International Space Station, during spacewalks, air bubbles have been recorded on numerous occasions. How is it possible for air bubbles to be present in the vacuum of space?
Impossible.
I once questioned astronaut Scott Kelly about this phenomenon. His body language and answers only created more questions. In 2013, astronaut Luca Parmitano nearly drowned during a spacewalk.
I remember that.
Filled with water. This happened again just last year. Air bubbles, helmets filling with water, and drowning. Are they in space or are they underwater? Now, what's really interesting is that they train for spacewalks in an underwater pool with a complete ISS replica. Now, surely they aren't filming these spacewalks in an underwater pool and then editing them to appear if they're in space. Because that sure would be something, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it?
I'm calling on the Brevard County Commissioners to open a full investigation into NASA's fraudulent practices and use of taxpayer dollars. It costs NASA $3 billion per year to operate the ISS, and if they don't have a darn good explanation as to why they're faking these videos, I and the public would like a darn good explanation as to where our tax money is going. And if they are indeed faking the funk, it is our duty to expose and eliminate this fraudulent and astronomically wasteful ISS program. And look, I know
Shit just appearing out of...
NASA's part of the federal government, and you're just county commissioners. Even if what I'm saying is true, what can you do? But let me remind you, not only is this happening in your county, as public officials, you have the platform and the ability to make a statement or hold a press conference, alerting the public, state, and federal authorities to investigate further. You have the power to start the conversation. Video evidence of everything I described today will be emailed to you all, and I truly hope we can get to the bottom of this. I look forward to the day that $3 billion annual budget is put towards our veterans, our homeless, maybe some of that mental health stuff the young lady just spoke about.
Yes.
And the revitalization of Brevard County. Thank you for your time today, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, sir.
And people might ask, why would they fake that money? Money, money, money. They receive billions upon hundreds of billions of dollars a year. And obviously, it would actually make sense to fake it. There's no doubt about that. You say, well, they shooting out in space. They can't go past low Earth orbit. Period, point blank. They just can't. A lot of them rockets go right back into the goddamn ocean. But, hey, I could be wrong. And if you can disprove me and prove that all this shit is real, I'm gladly open to it. Yeah, I leave room that I could be wrong on everything that I say, unless I speak in, facts. But besides that, it is what it is, you guys. Fake space. Coming to a television near you. But let's take a look at this. USC student shot, killed after entering the wrong home, police say. And this is not USC of Southern California. This is USC of South Carolina, University of South Carolina. Now, how do you enter the wrong home? A wrong apartment? Maybe. Wrong home equals intoxication or under the influence of some kind of drug. Now, we know if he's a college student, highly likely he's under the influence of alcohol. Now, on these college campuses, there's a lot of drugs, ecstasy, cocaine, and everything else you can think of. But the most prominent drug of use is alcohol. And there's a lot of alcohol that's being used on these college campuses. And if you go to shake on the wrong door and try to enter it, in today's society, with all this shit going on, people, they'll send some bullets and rounds right through that door. And let's take a look at this clip and see what the hell is going on.
Developing news. A 20-year-old University of South Carolina student was fatally shot early Saturday morning. Details are still limited, but police say he was shot when he tried to enter the wrong home. Police found 20-year-old Nicholas Anthony D'Onofrio dead of a gunshot wound on the front porch of a home on South Holly Street. South Holly Street is just about 2 miles from the University of South Carolina campus, and police say D'Onofrio lived on that street, but he tried to enter the wrong home and was shot. The 911 call came in right before 2 a.m. as a reported home burglary, and it wasn't until police were already on the way that it was upgraded to a shots fired call. A spokesperson for the University of South Carolina says D'Onofrio was a sophomore, and the university is providing support to students who need it after this tragedy. Classes just began for the fall semester last week. Tragedies receiving national attention. No charges have been filed yet. South Carolina has a stand your ground law that allows the use of deadly force in self-defense.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you got to work on a toxicology report, but I would almost guarantee he was under the influence. It's hard to try to go into the wrong house, even though you live on the street. You have to be really, really intoxicated or really, really high. That's damn near impossible. Well, let's take a look at this. I'm not going to watch this whole 12-minute clip. I'm just going to watch a little bit of it. New video, Sheriff TK Waters released a video of dollar store shooter. Let's take a look. Let me see. Let's get to where the video actually starts. Okay. That's some loud ass beeping. There's not going to be any volume on this part right here. But as you can see, that's him. Getting out of a car that's the shape of a deep freezer. He's walking up. He has the walk of a pure loser and the giddy up of an incel. There's no doubt about that. Looks like one of those guys who will fall in love with a sex doll. He would name it. Oh, look at this sick shit. This motherfucker didn't open a door for some people. Look, and then held the door for them. Oh yeah, this is real sicko. And this is where I guess he went to the college campus. They had an all-black the HBCU college. And he pulled up to this college. I think this is where he really wanted to do his damage. I think he had two two different options. He's just gonna do his thing at this college, or he was gonna do his thing at that store. If it didn't work out at this college, he was going back to the store, and that's exactly what he did. As you can see, he's getting ready. He's getting himself prepared to go martyr himself for white supremacy. But like I said before, these people be in these group chats and discords and all this shit, and they getting fed certain shit, certain ideology. Like I said, allegedly the FBI be in there and different other agencies, and they foster some of this shit. There's an agenda for this country. This experiment called America is almost over, y'all. Get yourself prepared. And it looked like that car is about to pull up behind them, and then it just parks across the street. Then here comes the security. He was getting ready to go in there and kill too. Security just posts up. Then when he starts to leave, the security gets out. He just gets out of Dodge. He's one of these people. He doesn't want any confrontation. He wants to hit completely defenseless people. And as you can see, this purple car seen something, knew something. See, that purple car must have called. Or burgundy, whatever color that car is. They must have called. You can see they followed him out. And all of a sudden, this purple car takes off. That purple car seen that white boy putting on that vest and shit. Niggas, when it comes to this type of shit, niggas' eyes get real googly. And all of a sudden, we get to looking hard. What the hell is this motherfucker doing? We start asking common sense questions. Okay, now this is when he's back at the dollar store. The police is entering the store, or SWAT, and that looks like an officer on the back end. Or is that security? If that's security, he got a hell of a gun to be security. I don't know if that was a police officer or security as the last guy. Obviously, the other guys are SWAT. And this is one of the most dangerous jobs you can have. Is these type of jobs where you got to go in and put your body in there first. As you can see, they got the brother right there. He got the flashlight on. He's searching, slicing the pie, what they like to call it when you enter these rooms and hallways. You got to slice the pie. You might say, what is slice the pie? That means it's like you're taking certain angles and you're slicing in a certain direction, left or right, while concealing your body. And let's take a look at that again at the end. At the end of that, you can see they heard a gunshot and they got the hell out of Dodge. Look, they're looking for him. They're looking for him. They heard a shot and they get out of Dodge to get to cover. You know, that's why, let me tell y'all this. This is why they are so desperate to get these assault rifles out of regular people's hands. As much training as they got, and as bold as they are, and as much as they look tough, they buff, they swole, they look the part. And when them bullets start flying, you're a human being. That should catch you off guard. You'll run the other way. Now you might go back eventually, but hey man, them rifles that's a powerful shit. Yeah, you can take some motherfuckers out. Just one person, man, is dangerous if he knows what he's doing. Obviously, this is a big fat incel loser, but even at that, still dangerous, even in the hands of a big fat incel loser. So, you know.
So you notice the reaction. A gunshot rang out. They were taking cover. That's when we believe the suspect took his own life.
So our agency will continue to diligently investigate these horrific crimes so that we can better understand both what happened. Likewise, I will continue to update the public on any developments in this investigation. While this is a dark time in Jacksonville's history, these senseless acts of violence do not define this great city or the people.
But I don't want to go through that whole thing. They just going, it's a bunch of word salad after that. It doesn't really matter. But the thing is that they want these rifles out of people's hands at all costs. Now is the time to go get them. Quit bullshit. Quit playing. Get it now before you can't have it. Let's take a look at this. 16-year-old girl stabbed to death during an argument over McDonald's.
According to testimony late today in juvenile court here in D.C., this was 5 friends, all of them girls, riding in a car after a night out in D.C. They'd gone to the McDonald's at 14th and U Northwest about 2 in the morning Sunday and were back in the car when an argument between teenage friends from Waldorf broke out over sweet and sour sauce. The fight that followed spilled out of the car.
Look, anytime you're in a car with 5 people and you this young, there's always people within that group of 5 that don't like each other already anyway. Probably talking behind each other's back, saying snide shit and did this or did that slick that they don't like between one another. And all it takes is some sweet and sour sauce to push that shit over the top. All it takes is a hot apple pie that you say you bought and the other motherfucker bought. It's supposed to be 2 apple pies. It's only 1 apple pie. So sometimes they say it's just over sweet and sour sauce, but obviously it'd be a little more deeper than that. Because the last thing you're going to do is stab a real friend over sweet and sour sauce, unless you're mentally unstable.
In front of the McDonald's, and that's when 16-year-old Naima Ligon of Waldorf was stabbed twice.
And you can see, she looks like one of those, a young person who's a future LGBTQ representative. She has on her Timberland boots, jeans, necklace, and a hoodie. Looking like Trayvon Martin. I mean, but it is what it is. It's unfortunate for the young lady. She was still young, had a long life to live, but, these things happen.
By another 16-year-old girl from Waldorf. The 2 were friends, according to the MPD detective who testified today. Ligon was taken by the other girls to nearby Howard University Hospital, where she died. The suspect was stopped by police walking alone a block away from the stabbing scene and had a black folding knife in her possession. Ligon's heartbroken family released photos of her with her mother. A neighbor spoke to us today about the murdered teen.
Beautiful, very intelligent young girl. My son is only friend here, so he's been impacted by this, and I would imagine all the rest of the kids in the neighborhood are as well.
All of this happened on the eve of today's first day of school at Thomas Stone High School in Waldorf. The principal there called Ligon's death a tragedy that has left the school heartbroken. Outside D.C. Superior Court, Scott Broom, WUSA Now.
All right, Scott, thank you. And Ligon's family sent us this statement about an hour ago.
And it reads, and we're quoting here, if I had one message for parents, it's love on your kids. Make sure they know they are loved when they walk out your door, because you never know if that's the last time, or if you know that may be the last time you see them. We love you, Naima, and we'll miss her incredibly, and she left a lasting imprint on our hearts. That statement goes on to say, I pray for our family and for her friends, and also for the family of the young lady who took her life.
Very unfortunate. I wonder, was the other little girl, a future lesbian or a lesbian? Look, at this age of 16, they might have been already indulging in lesbianism. Would I assume that? Yes, but that would just be an assumption. Was the beef over another girl? Or had they formerly been in a relationship? You never know with the chicanery and kids in high school. We always was in high school. And, you had your little boyfriend and girlfriend. And nowadays, it's more girlfriend and girlfriend. And sometimes boyfriend and boyfriend. Yeah, shit gets sillier and wackier out here, man. Unfortunate, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. Let's take a look at this last clip. I don't know which one I want to go with. I'm going to go with the 4 toddlers found dead. 4 people found dead, including 2 toddlers inside a Manhattan apartment.
And we begin with breaking news right now at 5. 4 people have been found dead at an apartment on the Upper West Side, including 2 children. News 4's Jessica Cunnington just got to the scene. This is at West 86th Street near Riverside Drive. Jessica, what have you learned?
Look, this is a tragic thing that happened. I don't know what, happened, what was behind this heinous acts of stabbing 4 people to death, including 2 toddlers. But this lady right here clearly hasn't eaten in at least 3 weeks. Look at the size of this lady's goddamn arm. I remember watching World War II documentaries when America first went to Germany and they went to some of them concentration camps, and they would find people completely just bone thin. And you would understand why, because the Germans were starving them people, unfortunately. But this lady has access to all the food of the planet Earth right here in America. And she's choosing to only drink water. This is absurd. She needs to go get some lunch. She's unhealthily thin. My goodness.
Yelma, really, really sad here. Again, as you said, a family found dead inside their 4th floor.
That's a real life olive oil.
Apartment here on West 86th Street. Police have just taped this part of the front of the building off here. Detectives inside, detectives outside, and the crime scene unit is here on scene as well. What we know for police at this point is that a father, 41 years old, a mother, 40 years old, a 2-year-old, and a 1-year-old were all found dead inside the apartment, all of them with multiple stab wounds. Police investigating this right now. They are not ruling anything out. They tell us there doesn't seem to be any signs of forced entry into that apartment, so a lot of questions still to be answered. But we're also told by police that how this all started was that the father of the man who was found dead had not heard from his son. So he comes to the apartment, he knocks on the door, he's not able to get inside, and that's when he calls for a wellness check. That is what brought officers to this apartment, and obviously when they got inside, that is when they saw and they learned that these 4 family members, including those 2 children, 2 years old and 1.
And you have to be really, really angry to stab 4 people to death. That's extremely difficult. And I wonder, was this a solo person or a team of people? Because if it was a solo person, you would obviously have to kill the father first, the woman next, and then the children, I would imagine. Because there's no way nobody gonna let you. But you just never know. Obviously, in a Manhattan apartment, there's gotta be. New York, there's cameras everywhere. So, I mean, New York is kind of like London. There are cameras literally everywhere. So there will be video footage somehow, some way, unless he was able to escape through the building underground and came out, popped out somewhere else. But 9 times out of 10, there's going to be some kind of video.
Year-old, all with stab wounds, dead inside this apartment. So again, a lot of questions still to
of him at least coming or leaving.
Are again not ruling anything out at this point. At this point in this early preliminary part of the investigation, we'll of course be updating you, but really officers just arriving to tape off this part of the area. Neighbors obviously looking on, very concerned to learn what happened here. So we will keep you updated, but a big investigation going on right now. A family of 4 found dead inside this building here on the Upper West Side. Live on the Upper West Side, I'm Jessica Cunnington, back to you.
Well, Jessica Cunnington needs to take the longest lunch break in the history of news anchors, news reporters, because she was real thin. I ain't never seen a lady arm that goddamn skinny. Unbelievable. Let's take a look at this. I'm going to go over these last 2 clips. Forget it. Mystery company buys $800 million in land around California Air Base. Now, that land in the Bay Area is extremely valuable. But the problem is it's farmland. And they say they supposed to build a city on the farmland. What kind of, with all these food shortages, you got these sickos saying they supposed to build a city on farmland. Let's take a look at this clip.
This morning, we're learning more about a mysterious company that has invested nearly $1 billion in buying farmland near a California air base. Plannery Associates has paid $800 million for 54,000 acres of land outside of Travis Air Force Base in Fairfield. That's about 50 miles north of San Francisco, 30 west of. Recent reports reveal that Flannery is a group of Silicon Valley investors planning to build a new city on the land. However, federal officials cannot confirm who is behind the company, and some are raising concerns about foreign involvement. Democratic Representative John Garamendi says that.
And if you can build a bunch of homes on there, they're going to be so valuable because of the proximity to Silicon Valley and San Francisco, where there's a lot of tech, where the tech obviously is booming in Silicon Valley and in the Bay Area and the San Francisco area. So, yeah, but building on farmland seems absurd.
Land buys are a critical security issue. The Air Force says it is now.
Yeah, of course the Air Force going to investigate, especially if they say it can be some foreign people or some kind of foreign sources involved. That's the last thing they want. But when you're dealing with these super rich people, you don't know their relationships with international bankers or the Chinese or Iranian. You just never know. It's tough to look into that shit because a lot of these people be in cahoots together and you just never know. But I'm going to make this the last clip of the day right here for sure. This video that went on super long, but they got a goddamn MSG Sphere in Las Vegas, here where I stay, that I found as one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in my life. This spear is just magical damn near when you see it. They say it poses traffic safety issues. Does it? Yes, I couldn't take my eyes off the shit. It is a wonder to look at, and it is a technological marvel. Let's take a look at the clip.
Well, it's been lighting up the city for months now. The MSG Sphere is here to stay, but how is it affecting traffic and drivers? 8 News Now reporter Brian Will checks in with a story that we first brought you right after the lights turned on in July.
A dazzling display or a bright distraction? This new concert venue has been lighting up the strip for the last 2 months, but could it be a danger to drivers?
I almost hit somebody, and it's like, okay, we gotta pay attention.
If you take the wrong street trying to get out here, expect to be...
At daytime, it looks good. At nighttime, it looks like some shit you've never seen, ever.
Everything in between. The Sphere has caught everyone's eye since it lit up for the first time last month.
All kinds of wild safety things happening in the vicinity of this project.
Aaron Green specializes in pedestrian safety and says this first-of-its-kind project poses serious traffic safety risks, with drivers stopping in the middle of the road, people running across lanes, all just to get the best possible view.
It's so much worse at night, and which makes it so much worse
Look at that
from
shit.
a traffic safety standpoint, because it's so much harder to see pedestrians and bicyclists.
Some places are even capitalizing on views like this parking ramp, charging people $20 to see it from
Look at
this
that.
perspective.
We were just kind of moseying around, and I went to pull in to turn around, and my grandson said, "Hey, it said the Sphere viewing."
It's a site tourists and locals still haven't gotten enough of yet.
It's definitely one of the coolest things, and especially when you're driving and you look over, you're like, wow, that's crazy.
I think it fits right in with Vegas.
Yeah.
Green says when it comes to safety, there isn't much you can do since this project is
Look at the dog.
her best advice.
You can see the sphere as you're driving.
Ugly ass little dog.
We keep full attention on the road and expect the unexpected. Expect a driver to stop and
That shit is crazy to me. And when you see that shit, like while you drive, it looks better in person.
Picture. Reporting in the Sphere, Ryan Will, 8 News Now.
All right, so we dug into Metro's records on
I don't care about what she talking about. Get out of here, Granny. But yeah, man, that is a sight to behold. You come to Vegas at nighttime, you gotta go see it. You gotta take some pictures out by it. It's actually a venue, and it's extremely immersive on the inside. I don't know if they've opened the inside yet, but it's also a venue, and it's like it holds 18,000. And that's something that's going to be a huge popular stop here in Vegas here soon. There's no doubt about it. Would I be down there? Yeah, absolutely. I'll eventually make my way into the Sphere. I don't know if it's open on the inside yet, but when it is, and I see something that's worth going to do and see, I most definitely like to go down there and check it out. And I'll probably put it on the channel too when I do. But, you know, this video done ran on way longer than I wanted to. This has been Sports, Life, and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel. I'm here for the news. Hit that like. Hit that subscribe. I just took your ass. When you're a black man, they gonna make your ass pay double ride. Peace.